A Muslim girl left the entire hall in shock. When she silenced an atheist with nothing but a drop of Zamzam. No shouting, no argument. Just one sacred drop. And the entire hall forgot how to respond. The debate hall was bright, filled with silent tension. Two figures stood on stage, one bold and sharp-tongued, the other calm and composed. All eyes were fixed on the next exchange. The atheist woman stepped forward with a smug expression. If your God really exists, then why didn't he just create all humans the same? Same faces, same skin, same design. That would have been more efficient, wouldn't it? A soft murmur swept through the crowd. The Muslim girl didn't flinch. She took a breath, then spoke gently. Because Allah isn't an engineer of clones. He is Al-Khaliq, the creator of infinite originality. Where you see inefficiency, I see divine artistry. She walked toward the center of the stage, holding up a laminated card. This is a fingerprint. Just one. There are over 8 billion people alive today. And yet not a single one of them, not even identical twins, share the same fingerprint. We use this tiny swirl of skin to unlock phones, cross borders, and prove identity. Just this, something so small, but so uniquely ours. She paused. Now ask yourself, who designed this? Blind chaos? Or the one who knows you better than you know yourself? A verse appeared on the screen behind her. We will show them our signs, within themselves. Qur'an 41:53. And for a moment, not a single word was spoken. The atmosphere shifted. The crowd leaned in as the atheist woman narrowed her eyes, her voice sharp and mocking. You say your God sees everything. Really? Then where is he? Why can't we see him back? A few chuckles echoed across the hall. But the Muslim girl remained composed. She slowly stepped forward, eyes calm, words soft but firm. Just because you can't see him, doesn't mean he's not watching. She raised a remote and pressed a button. A drone view appeared on the large screen behind her, a wide aerial shot of a city, cars moving, people walking, buildings standing tall. She pointed. This footage was taken from a drone, hundreds of feet above the ground. From up there, the drone sees everything clearly. But not a single person on the ground can see the drone. She paused. The drone sees without being seen. Now imagine the one who created not just one city, but every city. Not just one moment, but every moment. Her voice grew quiet. You ask why you can't see him, but you live every second under his view. He doesn't need to come down to be present. He's above all, beyond all. Watching you. Always. The screen faded to black. Silence swept the hall. For once, the one who questioned had no answer left. The lights dimmed slightly as a cosmic image appeared on the screen behind them, a swirling galaxy, a haunting void at its center. The atheist woman smirked, stepping forward with a confident tone. If God is real, then where is he? We've sent satellites, telescopes, probes, and guess what? There's nothing up there but stars and silence. Laughter scattered through parts of the audience. The Muslim girl looked up at the image behind her, then took a slow step toward the microphone. And yet, the deeper you look into the universe, the more your eyes tremble. She raised a hand, pointing to the black center of the galaxy on screen. This is a black hole. It's invisible. It emits no light. No sound. But it pulls stars, planets, even light itself, into it. Scientists only realized it existed because of how it affects what's around it. She paused, then looked directly at her opponent. You can't see it. You can't touch it. But you fear it, study it, respect its power. Now tell me, why is it so hard to believe that the creator of such forces can exist beyond your instruments? The room stilled. God doesn't exist inside the universe. The universe exists inside his command. The black hole image remained behind her. Still, dark, unstoppable. And in that moment, So was her argument. The screen behind them flickered to life, revealing a glowing helix, twisting, vibrant, alive. The atheist woman adjusted her mic, her voice sharp and scientific. We're made of DNA, chemical codes. No divine fingerprints. Just molecules and mutations over time. Religion had its age. Now we have genetics. A murmur of approval passed through the audience. The Muslim girl stepped forward, gazing up at the DNA structure behind her. Her voice was calm, but each word carried weight. Yes. DNA. For letters A, T, C, G. That's it. From these 4 building blocks, every living being is formed. Humans, animals, trees, even the bacteria on your skin. She walked slowly across the stage. It's a code. A script. An instruction manual written cell by cell, billions of lines long. And each person's is unique. She stopped. You say it's random. I ask, show me one random code that writes itself. Your phone's software can't build itself. A single page of programming needs a mind. But DNA, infinitely more complex, is accidental? The crowd was quiet now. If DNA is a language, who wrote it? The screen behind her displayed a strand unwinding, then rewinding, as if silently responding. He who created life, left his signature in every cell. Not in handwriting, but in design. She stepped back into the light. And for a moment, even science held its breath. The hall had grown quieter as the topics deepened. The atheist leaned slightly forward, arms crossed, voice cold but curious. You keep talking about the soul, but where is it? We've opened up bodies, scanned brains, studied nerves. No one's ever found a soul. Some heads nodded in agreement. But the Muslim girl didn't rush her answer. She stepped slowly to the front of the stage, her tone soft, her gaze steady. Let me ask you something instead. Have you ever experienced sleep paralysis? Whispers rippled through the crowd. That moment when your mind is fully awake, but your body won't move. You try to scream, but no sound comes out. You feel trapped inside yourself, alive, aware, and helpless. She paused, letting the weight of that experience settle in. Science will call it a brain glitch. But the feeling? It's deeper than nerves. It's the realization that there's something within you that isn't flesh. The lights dimmed slightly as a slow-motion reenactment played behind her. A person lying still, eyes wide open, unable to move. You say there's no soul, but when your body fails, what's still awake inside? She took a step back. It's not a dream. It's not movement. It's not breath. It's something else. The Qur'an says, it is Allah who takes the souls at the time of death and those that do not die during their sleep. 39:42. Silence returned to the hall. Not fear, but reflection. The hall lights dimmed as an image of a blazing sun appeared on the screen. The atheist woman smiled wryly, stepping forward. You claim God is so powerful, so glorious, yet he hides. Why can't we see him? Why stay invisible if he wants us to believe? Some chuckled. The tension in the room shifted. The Muslim girl didn't flinch. She reached into her bag, pulled out a pair of eclipse glasses, and walked slowly toward the screen. Have you ever tried looking at the sun with your bare eyes? She held the glasses up for everyone to see. You can't. It burns. It blinds. Yet it's only a creation, a star among billions. She turned to the crowd. Now imagine the creator of that sun. Do you think your eyes, built to blink at a flashlight, could withstand his glory? A hush settled over the audience. You need these, just to look at one tiny part of his creation. So to meet him? You'll need more than science, you'll need humility. Behind her, the screen shifted to a total solar eclipse, the sky darkening, only a halo of light remaining. The Qur'an says eyes do not perceive him, but he perceives all eyes. 6:103. God doesn't hide. He protects you, even from his own brilliance. No one laughed now. Only quiet. And all. A quiet stillness filled the hall. The screen behind them shifted to a bird's-eye view, rows of graves, perfectly aligned, stretching endlessly across the land. The atheist woman crossed her arms. You talk about Judgment Day like it's guaranteed. But when people die, that's it. The grave is the end. No one comes back. No one tells us what happens. A few heads nodded slowly. The Muslim girl stepped forward, not with argument, but with presence. She gestured toward the screen. Look at this. From above, every grave looks the same. No names are readable, no wealth visible, no titles engraved from this height. Just silence. Just earth. She paused. Yet beneath every stone is a different story. A billionaire lies next to a beggar. A ruler beside a refugee. All wrapped in the same cloth, all facing the same direction, all waiting. She let those last words sink in. We prepare resumes for interviews. But what do we prepare for a meeting with the one who never forgets a single heartbeat? The screen zoomed in slowly on one grave, unmarked, untouched, surrounded by silence. Death isn't the end. It's the return. And this view? This is just the waiting room. She turned to the audience. The Qur'an says, every soul shall taste death, and to us is your final return. 29:57. And in that moment, no one could deny the weight of the soil beneath their feet. The room grew still again. This time, the Muslim girl didn't look at the screen, she looked directly into the crowd. Let me tell you something we all do. She reached into her pocket and held up a phone. This. You set alarms on it. You hear them ring. And what do you press? She smiled gently. Snooze. Laughter rippled lightly across the hall. She walked slowly across the stage. 5 more minutes. 10 more. Just a little more sleep. But eventually, the alarm stops. Not because you got up, but because the time ran out. She paused. Now think, what if life is the same? On the screen behind her, a looped video played of a person repeatedly snoozing their alarm. Until it suddenly stopped. Black screen. We get reminders every day. Call to prayer. A funeral we hear about. An illness. A heartbreak. But we say, not now. Let me live a little more. We hit snooze. Her voice dropped. Until one day, the final alarm rings. And we don't wake up. She looked back at the audience. The Qur'an says, the death from which you flee, it will surely meet you. 62:8. You can delay waking up. But you can't delay the day you're meant to rise. And for many in the hall, their hearts beat just a little louder. The screen behind them flickered to an image of a hospital blood bag, red, pulsing, hanging beside a patient. The atheist woman stepped up, arms confidently folded. You say God gives life. But we save lives too. We donate blood. We perform surgeries. We bring people back from the edge. So what exactly is God doing? A few in the audience murmured, some in agreement, some uneasy. The Muslim girl walked forward slowly, then turned toward the image behind her. This is a blood bag. It can sustain a life. It can delay death. But it cannot create life. She paused. You can donate blood. You can attach machines. You can pump oxygen and nutrients. But if the soul has been taken, she looked back at her opponent. No doctor, no science, no machine can bring that person back. The room quieted. Blood keeps the body moving. But the body isn't the one breathing. There's something else, something unseen, that animates us. Behind her, the screen showed a heartbeat monitor flatlining. When that disappears, no amount of blood can change it. She raised her hand gently. Giving blood is noble. It may extend life. But creating life? That power belongs only to the one who gave it in the first place. The Qur'an says, "They ask you about the soul? Say, it is from the command of my Lord. 17 hours 85 minutes. And in that silence, science bowed to something greater. The lights dimmed. A single image appeared behind them, a quiet night sky. Then suddenly, a streak of light cut across the darkness. A shooting star. The atheist woman smirked. All of this, stars, galaxies, explosions, it's just physics. The universe is random, chaotic, evolving on its own. We don't need God to explain it anymore. The Muslim girl stood quietly for a moment. Then she stepped forward, speaking not in rebuttal, but in reflection. You saw that streak of light? She pointed at the screen, now frozen on the moment of the shooting star. That's what you call a meteor. A space rock crashing through Earth's atmosphere. It burns for a second, then disappears forever. She turned slowly toward the audience. People make wishes on these. They look up in awe. They fall silent. Over something that lasts less than a breath. She paused. Now tell me, why does your heart still react to it? Because even a single, silent burst of light in a dark sky reminds your soul of something bigger than formulas. The crowd listened. The Qur'an says, Indeed, we have adorned the lowest heaven with stars and made them missiles against devils. 67:5. Even the falling star has a purpose. You think this universe is random? Look up. Even the briefest moment of light has meaning. And in the darkness of doubt, that light stayed. The screen behind them now showed pulsing waves, colored lines rising and falling in smooth motion. A sound wave. Alive though silent. The atheist woman leaned forward. You talk about prayers, the soul, feelings, all invisible things. If we can't see them, measure them, or touch them, why should we believe they're real? She folded her arms, as if her question had sealed the case. But the Muslim girl only smiled softly, and walked slowly across the stage. Let me show you something. She gestured toward the visual on the screen. This is sound. Not the sound itself, but its pattern. Its presence. When you speak, you don't see the words, but they exist. They move through the air, touch ears, reach hearts. The crowd leaned in. If someone says I love you, or I hate you, you can't see the sentence. But you feel it. You respond. It changes you. She paused. Some of the most powerful things in life are invisible. Like sound. Like emotion. Like pain. Like healing. Like prayer. The screen showed a whisper turning into a glowing wave. We measure sound by its effect, not its shape. So why doubt the soul, just because it's subtle? She looked at the audience. The Qur'an says, He knows what is in the hearts. 67:13. What you can't see might be the most real thing about you. And with that, the silence felt alive. The screen faded in slowly. A blank document appeared. Then, rapid typing. Words filled the page. The atheist woman turned to the Muslim girl with a firm tone. Why do I need religion if I already do good? I help people. I don't steal. I don't lie. Why do I need God to validate that? Some in the audience nodded. The Muslim girl didn't interrupt. Instead, she walked to the screen and clicked one key. Power off. The screen went black. She turned back. You wrote so much. But you didn't save it. The hall went quiet. Being good is beautiful. It's necessary. But if you don't attach your goodness to the one who gave you life, where will it go? The screen flicked back on. The document? Gone. You built a life full of good deeds, but never pressed save with intention, with faith. On the day of judgment, it's not just what you did. It's who you did it for. She looked out across the audience. You pray not just to remember God, but so He remembers you. The Qur'an says, whoever hopes to meet their Lord, let them do good deeds and not associate anyone in worship. 18:110. Without intention, without belief. Goodness may touch people, but never reach heaven. And in that moment, goodness without God felt incomplete. A high-resolution image appeared on the screen, a handful of fresh dates resting in an open palm. The atheist woman raised an eyebrow. You religious people cling to rituals and desert traditions. Dates, head coverings, ancient customs. It's outdated. The world's moved on. There was a faint murmur of agreement. But the Muslim girl calmly approached the center, a soft smile on her face. She held up a single date. Let's talk about this fruit. She paused. In the desert there's almost nothing. No greenery. No water. But Allah chose this, the date, to grow where no other fruit could survive. She turned to the audience. It nourishes. It heals. It stores for years. And when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would break his fast, this is what he chose first. She held the date gently in her palm. Now fast forward to today. Nutritionists call it a superfood. It strengthens the heart, the brain, the body. It regulates sugar and replenishes energy in seconds. A news slide appeared, scientific data confirming the benefits. So tell me, was this tradition? Or divine wisdom before science caught up? The Quran mentions dates repeatedly. Not because it's Arab culture, but because it's a reminder, even the simplest gift from God carries depth beyond your sight. She let the silence hang. Outdated? Or timeless? And in that question, the modern mind stood still. A desert landscape filled the screen, vast, silent, and in the middle of it, a camel, walking with unshaken grace. The atheist woman gave a faint scoff. You quote the Quran like it's filled with divine knowledge, but sometimes it's just strange. It literally tells people to look at camels. What does that even prove? A few amused glances passed through the crowd. But the Muslim girl stepped forward calmly. Yes, the Quran says. Do they not look at the camel, how it was created? 88:17. She paused in front of the screen. And do you know why? She gestured toward the image behind her. This animal can survive for weeks without water. Its body stores fat in its hump, not water, to regulate temperature. Its nose closes to block out sand. Its eyelashes are double-layered. It walks on sand as if it's walking on air. Images zoomed in, the nose, the eyes, the feet. This is not just a creature. It's engineering. In temperatures that kill most living beings, the camel thrives. Not because of random evolution, but because of purposeful design. She turned toward the atheist. The Quran didn't say worship the camel. It said look at it. Reflect on it. And ask, who made it so perfect for the hardest environment on earth? Some verses aren't metaphors. They're invitations to witness the obvious. And for a moment, no one laughed. They just looked. A golden stream of honey slowly dripped into a glass jar on the screen. The image held still, warm, mesmerizing. The atheist woman tilted her head. So now honey is divine proof? It's just bee vomit. Natural. Sweet. That's all. Why elevate it into something holy? Some in the audience chuckled. But the Muslim girl didn't laugh. She simply stepped forward. You call it ordinary. Let's take a closer look. The screen behind her shifted to a cross-section of a beehive, hexagons, perfect geometry, bustling with life. A single bee travels up to 5 miles for nectar. It visits thousands of flowers. It communicates direction to other bees through a dance, not sound. She turned to the crowd. And out of this process comes a liquid that never spoils. Naturally antibacterial. full of antioxidants. Even today, scientists place it on wounds when medicine fails. She raised her hand. And the Qur'an, over 1,400 years ago, said, "From within the bellies of the bees comes a drink of varying colors, wherein is healing for mankind." 16 hours 69 minutes. A new slide appeared, modern scientific journals confirming its healing effects. So tell me, how did a man in the 7th century, in the deserts of Arabia, know what science confirms now? Because he didn't speak from himself. He recited what was revealed. And just like the honey itself, his words still heal. The lights dimmed slightly. A high-resolution image appeared on the screen. A human eye, zoomed in so far you could see every ripple in the iris, every reflection on the cornea. The atheist woman leaned toward the mic. The eye is beautiful, yes, but it evolved over time. No one designed it. It's just biology doing what it does, adapting. She folded her arms with a shrug. The Muslim girl didn't respond right away. She simply looked at the screen, then began. Do you know what it takes for your eye to see this image right now? The slide changed. Retina. Iris. Pupil. Lens. Optic nerve. Rods. Cones. Your eye adjusts to light in milliseconds. It flips the image upside down. Your brain reflips it without you noticing. It focuses, adapts, blinks, cleans itself, every second. She stepped forward, softly. Cameras are designed by people. They require lenses, sensors, focus rings, shutters. And still, they're never as good as the human eye. So let me ask, when you see a camera, you assume a creator. But when you see this? She pointed at the eye. You assume chaos made it? The room quieted. The Quran says, "We created you, then fashioned you, then gave you hearing and sight." 67:23. She looked toward the crowd. Your eye can see everything, except the arrogance in denying the one who gave it to you. And for a second, everyone blinked. Flames danced across the screen. Slow-motion footage of a fire crackling in darkness. Its light glowed, but its heat warned. The atheist woman spoke with a smirk. Religions love to scare people. Hell. Fire. Punishment. If your God is merciful, why does he threaten people with eternal fire? Her words echoed in the stillness. The Muslim girl walked forward, gently, not with anger, but with gravity. She looked up at the fire behind her. Fire isn't just destruction. It also gives light. It warms your home. It cooks your food. It saves lives. She turned to the audience. But touch it carelessly, and it burns. She paused. God warned us about fire, not to frighten us, but to protect us. You're not afraid of fire because it's cruel. You're afraid because it's real. The screen changed, showing a forest engulfed in flames, homes reduced to ash. No one blames fire for being fire. We blame ourselves for ignoring the warning signs. The Quran describes hellfire not to scare us into obedience, but to awaken us before it's too late. She looked straight ahead. If you knew there was fire ahead, wouldn't you want someone to shout and pull you back? That's what God is doing. She stepped back. The flames on screen faded to black. And for a moment, no one felt warm. The screen behind them flickered to footage, buildings trembling, lights swaying, cracks splitting through concrete. An earthquake. Sudden. Merciless. Silent before it strikes. The atheist woman raised her voice, frustration clear. You say your God is merciful. Then why earthquakes? Why disasters that kill the innocent? What kind of mercy is that? Whispers rose from the audience. It was a hard question. But the Muslim girl remained still. She let the noise fade, then walked toward the screen, eyes steady. When the earth shakes, it doesn't just break buildings. It breaks illusions. We think we're in control, until the ground beneath us reminds us we are not. A slow-motion video played, a street bustling one moment, frozen in fear the next. People remember God when the world forgets them. Pain, sometimes, is the only voice the soul will answer. Yes, earthquakes are terrifying. But sometimes, trembling wakes you up before drowning does. She paused. The Qur'an says, when the earth is shaken with its final earthquake, and the earth discharges its burdens, man will say, what is happening? 99:13. God doesn't just shake the earth to punish. Sometimes he shakes it to remind. The screen showed a lone man kneeling beside rubble, crying, not from loss, but from return. Not every crack is destruction. Sometimes it's the opening back to him. And for a moment, the ground beneath felt more real than ever. The screen transitioned into a time lapse, a horizon slowly shifting from starlit night to glowing dawn. Cities woke. Birds stirred. Light returned. The atheist woman stepped forward with a casual tone. Night and day? It's just planetary motion. Rotation, orbit, sunlight, all explained by science. Why attach God to something so automatic? She smiled faintly, as if the case was closed. The Muslim girl didn't argue. She simply gestured toward the screen. Yes, the Earth rotates at 1,000 miles per hour. It orbits the Sun at 67,000 miles per hour. And still, the Sun rises exactly on time. Not 1 second early. Not 1 moment late. The audience leaned in. Who programmed that precision? Who told the Sun when to rise, and when to disappear? She paused, her voice steady. You say it's all mechanical, then who wound the machine? The screen now showed night spreading again, light fading, stars reappearing. You've never missed a sunrise. But how many times have you forgotten the one who brings it? She turned back to the crowd. The Qur'an says, it is he who merges night into day and day into night. Indeed, in that are signs for people who reflect. 3:190. Science explains the how. But only God explains the why. The hall was quiet. Because everyone there had witnessed the miracle that morning. The screen faded in gently, a mother cradling her child, wiping tears, whispering comfort. The room felt warmer, quieter. The atheist woman stepped forward, voice almost softer this time. If your God is so merciful, why is there so much pain in the world? If he really loved us, wouldn't he stop the suffering? The question hung heavy in the room. The Muslim girl slowly approached the center, her hands folded gently in front of her. Have you ever seen a mother take something away from her child, to protect them? The screen showed a child crying as a mother pulled away sharp scissors, or gave them bitter medicine, or scolded them for running into the street. The child thinks it's cruelty. The mother knows it's mercy. She let the thought breathe. Allah's mercy is greater than the mercy of 70 mothers. We feel pain not because he is absent, but because we don't always understand his presence. A pause. When we bleed, we remember who heals. When we fall, we remember who lifts. And when no one else holds us, we remember the one who always does. The screen displayed a Quranic verse. My mercy encompasses all things. 7:156. She looked into the audience, her voice barely a whisper. If a mother never stops loving her child, do you really think your Creator would ever stop loving you? Silence. But this time, it felt like an embrace. The screen showed an ancient tree, massive, weathered, unmoving. Its roots deep in the earth, its branches reaching beyond sight. The atheist woman stepped forward with a half-smile. Islam is like that old tree. Outdated. Rigid. No longer relevant. The world's changing, but your faith is stuck in the past. Some nodded in agreement. But the Muslim girl didn't rush to respond. She walked slowly toward the image, her voice soft but sure. Yes, it is an old tree. But do you know why it still stands? She gestured toward the roots beneath the soil. Because its foundation goes deep. Because storms came and passed. Because its shade still comforts, and its fruit still nourishes. The screen shifted, children playing beneath the tree, an old man praying in its shadow, birds nesting above. Not everything old is obsolete. Sometimes, what's old is what has survived. We chase modernity, but we forget what made us human. Patience. Discipline. Humility. Purpose. All taught by this tree, and this deen. A pause. The Qur'an says, Have you not seen how Allah presents a parable? A good word is like a good tree, firm in the ground, and its branches in the sky. 1424. Some people uproot their values every decade. But this tree still gives shade. And in that quiet comparison, the audience finally saw which one was actually standing tall. The screen opened to a slow-motion shot of a single raindrop falling from a cloud, crisp, quiet, then landing on dry earth. Life followed behind it. The atheist woman spoke confidently. Rain is just part of the water cycle, evaporation, condensation, gravity. It's science. Predictable. Nothing miraculous about it. The Muslim girl waited a beat, then stepped forward, eyes on the screen. Yes, rain follows a cycle. But have you ever thought about how precise it is? The image zoomed out, billions of raindrops falling in perfect harmony over fields, mountains, deserts, oceans. Every drop lands exactly where it's meant to. Not an inch off. Not too much. Not too little. Enough to grow a seed, or flood a city. Controlled. Measured. She turned toward the audience. The Qur'an says, And we sent down water from the sky in a measured amount. 23:18. Measured. A pause. Rain doesn't just fall, it's sent. Every drop is an instruction. To give life, or to remind of who gives it. She walked slowly, letting the imagery soak in. You say it's gravity. But gravity has no mercy. Rain does. A final scene played, a thirsty plant blooming after one drop touches its soil. You say it's just water. But if one drop can bring life back to earth, why doubt the one who brings life back to hearts? And in the rhythm of falling rain, many hearts had already softened. The screen showed a hospital monitor, beeping steadily, green lines pulsing with life. Then, a flat line. One long beep. Then silence. The atheist woman's voice broke through. Life is just biology. Atoms. Nerves. Electricity. When the brain dies, it's over. There's no soul. No afterlife. Just silence. The words echoed across the room. The Muslim girl didn't argue. She pointed to the frozen screen behind her, that single, unmoving line. That is the sound of everything ending. She let it ring in the minds of the audience. No more memories. No more movement. Your name remains, but you're no longer here. She stepped forward. Doctors can't bring you back. Machines can't restart your soul. Because what left you isn't just air. That breath was permission. And when it's taken, even kings collapse like dust. She turned slowly. The Qur'an says, Every soul shall taste death, then to us you shall return. 29:57. A new image appeared, the same monitor, but now blank. Covered with a sheet. Science can measure the heartbeat. But it cannot measure the soul that carried it. She looked across the hall. You think death is the end. But death is the proof that something greater was keeping you alive in the first place. Silence filled the room. Not from fear, but because no one could argue with the line. That never moved again. The screen revealed a fogged-up bathroom mirror. A hand slowly reached forward, and wiped a clear circle in the mist. A face appeared behind the glass. The atheist woman tilted her head and spoke coolly. You talk about truth like it's obvious. But if your religion is true, why don't more people see it? Why isn't it clear to everyone? The Muslim girl stepped forward, her tone calm, almost tender. Let me show you something first. She turned to the screen. This is a mirror. When it's foggy, your reflection is still there, but you can't see it. It doesn't mean the image is gone. It means the surface is blurred. She paused. Sometimes the truth is like that. It's not hidden. It's just that your heart has fogged the glass. The screen showed the hand wiping the mirror again, the face becoming clearer. Anger, ego, pain, pride. They cover your vision like steam. And until you wipe it clean, truth will always seem blurry. She turned toward the crowd. The Qur'an says, Indeed, it is not the eyes that go blind, but the hearts. 22:46. You're asking why truth isn't clearer. But maybe the better question is, what's fogging your mirror? Silence followed. Not because the question was unanswered, but because it was finally personal. The screen showed something simple, a stream of white milk being poured into a glass. Clean, pure, familiar. The atheist woman smirked. You religious people over-spiritualized everything. It's just milk. Biological process. Nothing special. The Muslim girl smiled, just slightly. Yes, it is just milk. But let's ask, where does it come from? The screen shifted. A cross-section of a cow appeared. Inside, layers of flesh, blood vessels, and waste channels. Milk is extracted from between blood and waste. And yet it comes out white. Pure. Nourishing. The image zoomed in on a single milk droplet forming in a gland. Now think. How is this drink formed in such a place, untouched by the filth that surrounds it? She looked across the hall. This isn't a miracle of science. It's a miracle of design. Then the verse appeared behind her. And indeed, for you in grazing livestock is a lesson. We give you drink from what is in their bellies, between blood and excretion, pure milk, palatable to drinkers. Quran 16 hours 66 minutes. She paused. The same Lord who brings purity from impurity can bring guidance from confusion, light from darkness, and faith from a heart you thought was too far gone. The glass of milk remained on the screen. Still. Silent. Unanswered. Because sometimes truth is that simple. The screen displayed a close-up of an ancient olive tree, twisted trunk, silver-green leaves, and small golden fruits glowing under the sun. The atheist woman gave a skeptical look. It's just a tree. Why does the Quran give so much importance to olives? You talk like it's something sacred. The Muslim girl stepped forward with calm reverence. Yes, it's more than just a tree. Some olive trees live over 1,000 years. They survive droughts. Their roots grow deep, their shade cools the land. And from their fruit comes oil that heals, nourishes, and lights homes. She pointed to the screen, where ancient farmers still harvested olives by hand. But there's more. The Quran says, A blessed tree, neither of the east nor of the west, its oil would almost glow even if untouched by fire. 2400 hours 35. That's not just poetry. That's guidance. It means real light doesn't need permission to shine. A subtle image faded in, olive oil being poured into a lamp. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, Eat olive oil and anoint yourselves with it, for it comes from a blessed tree. She paused. In a world where things expire fast, this tree endures. Its roots are firm. Its fruits are healing. Its light, eternal. She looked across the room. Maybe that's why Allah swore by it. Not for the tree itself, but for what it represents. And for a moment, everyone felt rooted. The screen lit up with a microscopic view of an ant colony. Tunnels, chambers, thousands of tiny workers moving in perfect coordination. The atheist woman smirked slightly. You seriously believe your book talks about ants as if they're special? They're insects, small, insignificant. Mentioning them in scripture just proves how primitive religion is. The Muslim girl approached slowly, her tone steady, her gaze thoughtful. You think small means meaningless. But Allah mentions the ant in the Qur'an, not because it's big, but because it teaches. The screen shifted. An animation showed an ant communicating with others by tapping its antenna. Another ant detoured to avoid harming others. Ants speak. Not with sound, but with coded touch. They organize cities underground. They bury their dead. They store food. They assign roles, worker, soldier, queen. She looked at the audience. And over 1,400 years ago, the Quran described a moment when an ant warned its colony. O ants, enter your dwellings so Solomon and his army do not crush you while unaware. 27:18. The Quran didn't mock the ant. It gave it a voice. Before microscopes, before entomology. Revelation honored the tiny world we ignored. She paused. If God cares about something this small, what makes you think He's forgotten you? The screen returned to the ant. Now larger than life. And in that moment, no one dared call it small. The screen showed a silhouette, a girl standing under the sun, her shadow stretching behind her. She moved. The shadow followed. Silent. Constant. The atheist woman folded her arms. You keep talking about God being close, being present. But I don't see Him. If He's always with us, why can't I feel anything? The Muslim girl took a step forward, her tone soft, eyes steady. Have you ever seen your own shadow? The screen zoomed in, the shape on the ground mirroring each motion. It never speaks. It never pushes. But it's always with you. Even when you forget it, it never forgets you. She paused. God is like that. Always near. But never shouting. You're not alone because you can't see Him. You're unaware because you've stopped looking. Behind her, verses appeared softly. Do you not see how your shadows incline to the right and to the left, prostrating to Allah while they are humble? Quran 16:48. Even your shadow is in submission. The audience fell silent. You think silence means absence. But sometimes, it means presence without pressure. She looked directly at her opponent. When you walk away from God, He still follows. Not to punish, but to wait. The screen faded back to the shadow. Still there. Still following. And suddenly, it no longer felt so empty. A close-up appeared on the screen, a tear rolling down someone's cheek. Then a hand gently lifted a soft white tissue and wiped it away. The atheist woman's voice was calm, even empathetic. People cry. They suffer. But when they do, no divine hand comes down to comfort them. They wipe their own tears. Your God is silent. The room was still. The Muslim girl didn't argue. She simply held up a folded tissue in her hand. This can wipe a tear. But it can't heal the pain that caused it. She looked at the audience. You can hide sadness from people. You can even lie to yourself. But your soul still aches, quietly, deeply. The screen shifted to images of heartbreak, a funeral, a breakup, a child sitting alone. Then, it shifted again, someone praying, someone reciting, someone finally smiling through tears. People think God is absent during pain. But pain is when He's closest. The Quran says, it is He who relieves the distressed one when He calls upon Him. 27:62. She stepped forward. The tissue comforts the face. But only Allah comforts the soul. She held the tissue still for a moment. Sometimes you cry alone. But you never heal alone. You wipe your own tears. But the peace that follows? That is from him. The screen faded to white. And in that quiet softness, no one felt alone anymore. The debate hall had grown tense. For nearly an hour, questions had flown like arrows. The atheist woman had challenged everything, from the existence of God to the relevance of religion in a modern world. Her words were sharp, her tone confident. She smiled as she looked toward the Muslim girl. If God truly exists, she said, her voice laced with finality, then why do we see nothing? Why doesn't he speak? Why doesn't he prove himself, right here, right now? The audience leaned in. A few heads nodded. It was the kind of question that didn't need an answer. It was meant to end the conversation. But the Muslim girl remained calm. She stood slowly. No anger in her eyes. No panic in her steps. Just a presence. She walked to the center of the stage. In her hands was a small, clear glass. Inside it, water. Not just any water. Zamzam. She didn't say a word at first. She simply lifted the glass into the light. The liquid shimmered clear, still, pure. Then she spoke, softly. 4,000 years ago, a mother ran between two hills, crying for water to save her son. There were no taps. No wells. No help. But help came. From beneath her child's feet. Water gushed. That water, Zamzam, has never stopped flowing. The screen behind her showed footage from Mecca. Millions of pilgrims. Every race. Every language. All drinking from one source. No pipes run to it. No machines power it. It's been giving life to hearts and bodies for over 4 millennia. She turned back to the atheist woman. You said, why doesn't God prove himself? She raised the glass higher. He already did. This water was his answer to a mother's prayer. And today, it's his reminder to you. She stepped forward. You want God to speak? He has. You just stopped listening. You want him to show you something? He already has. Zamzam is not just water. It is legacy. It is mercy. It is proof that when the world turns its back, he doesn't. Behind her, the screen showed a single drop of Zamzam falling into still water and rippling outward endlessly. The Qur'an says, and whoever trusts in Allah, he is sufficient for him. 65:3. She held the glass still. This isn't just water. This is an answer that never stopped flowing. And in that moment, no one spoke. Not the atheist. Not the audience. Not even the girl. Because the water had said everything.